Chapter 55, Bus Stop. Bangs showed up to basketball practice that evening. She arrived earlier than usual, probably because she had figured out that last time I cut out early and avoided her. I didn't like her sitting around a gym full of sweaty male teens working out. It was not the same as bringing Naja. Bangs was all body. Everything she wore rolled her deep curves and highlighted her beauty. Today she wore shorts and a tight tee. Her hair was slicked up and pulled tight, then rubber banded into a bun. She combed her baby hair down and swirled it out onto the smooth skin of her face. Her milky breasts alone were a magnet. She was all smiles and sitting on the top back bleacher against the wall. Her dimples revealed her happiness. I looked up at her face and knew she didn't know that I intended to separate myself from her. I needed her to stop coming for me. After practice, I met her on the side of the bleachers and slightly underneath. "Thank you so much for what you did," she said. "Nobody in the whole world ever did anything so nice for me, really." She went to wrap her arms around my neck. I caught her by her wrist. "Listen, Bangs, you're cool with me. You looked out, and I won't forget it. But what you're looking for, as far as me and you, that's not happening," I told her. "Why?" she asked, seeming completely puzzled. "We already discussed why," I told her. "Oh, that's nothing," she said, referring either to my religion or my relationship with Akemi. "It's something to me," I told her. "I didn't mean it like that," she answered, lying, I thought. And now her new lie reminded me of her old lies. "Who's Darren Sparks?" I asked her, referring to the news article on her wall. "Who?" She got immediately defensive. "I don't know who that is, but if he told you I did something with him, he's lying," she said within half a second. "Didn't you tell me your daughter's father got hit by a drunk driver?" I reminded her. Her eyes started moving around, away from mine. "He did," she said softly, her voice trailing off and her face revealing her desperate rush to organize her thoughts and her lies. She stood still for the first time since I met her. Her dimples and her smile were gone. Suddenly, she tried to bring them back. "Did my grandmother say something to you?" she asked, trying to sound pleasant. But I knew what she was attempting to do. She wanted to find out how much I really knew so she could lie about whatever else remained. "Is your grandmother your real grandmother?" I asked her. "Yes." She looked puzzled again. "She is my mother's mother. Was, I mean." "And your uncle, is that your mother's real brother?" I asked. Finally, she knew what I was knowing and getting at. "Yes," she answered softly and slowly. She turned away from me slightly and folded her arms across her body. She began fidgeting again, the whites of her eyes becoming cloudy and red as the frustration and stress brought painful tears. "So, is it my fault, superstar?" she asked with tears falling from both of her eyes. One of her feet started shaking. I was silent. Of course I didn't think it was her fault that some grown demented man, a blood relative, went into a young member of his own family, his sister's daughter. I thought it was filthy. In the Holy Quran, it spells out clearly, for all believing men, which women they are allowed to marry and go into, and which women are forbidden. It is forbidden for a man to take his siblings' daughters. It is forbidden for men to rape. Still, men who are non-believers or fakers don't pause and are capable of great evil. They fuck it up for everybody. I also thought that she couldn't be trusted. She cut out that random newspaper article and put it up on her wall, probably lied about it to every dude she brought up into her bedroom. She probably lied about it with a big smile and her pretty dimples and her skin glowing. And why was she keeping her uncle's dirty secret? Did she like fucking him? And if she hated it, why was she still fucking him? Why were his pants and the condom paper up in the bedroom, same like it would be if two lovers met in a secret rendezvous? And why did she pretend to hate him whenever she saw him? Then in private, what? She would lie down for him and crack open her legs? The whole thing got me heated. "I thought about killing the baby," she said. "But isn't she pretty?" she asked me in a childlike voice. I'm glad I kept her. I thought you liked her too. You were the only one who didn't treat me like my baby was my curse. I do like the baby. She's innocent, I said. I know, she said, smiling. I'm going to get her out of that house before she turns 5. That's how old I was when he caught me in the corner of my room. She folded her arms back across her chest and crossed one leg over the other and placed one foot on top of the other. She looked close and uncomfortable, or trapped in a bad memory. Fuck it, she said with a sudden new strength. She unfolded her arms and untwisted her legs and feet. You the only one asking me all these goddamn questions, superstar. I could get any one of those boys on your team to talk to me. Maybe I will, then we'll see. 'Cause I know why you don't want me around anyway. You like me too. I can tell. I felt your big dick up against my leg at that party. When we was in my room, if your friend didn't come along, I could have been all over you. You would have liked it too, she said, smiling now. She started rocking back and forth on the tips of her toes as usual. Don't worry, superstar. I won't bother you no more, she said and ran out the gym suddenly and at full speed. I left to meet Akemi. On my way to the subway, I thought about what she had to say to me. Since I never lied to myself, I had to admit she was right. I do like her. But I don't love her. Bangs is cool, but she's not enough for me. Sure, she was fine in addition to Akemi, but if it were just me and Bangs only, it wouldn't work. I would never marry her. I would never rearrange my life to take care of her. I would never introduce her to Uma, or adorn her with Uma's jewels, or work hard to get her a place to live, or expect her to learn my faith and love and live it. I couldn't protect her honor because it was already gone. I wouldn't want her to be the mother of my children. I wouldn't give my life for her or risk my freedom. I couldn't teach her too much because she was already too slick, and no woman could roll back from knowing too much or being too slick for the wrong reason to not knowing and not being slick even for good reasons. I was attracted to her enthusiasm for me and her comical happiness. Also, ever since I saw her in the daylight at the pharmacy and in the candlelight in her bedroom, I was definitely attracted to her body. It took everything I ever knew to keep off of her that night. I could feel that I was only seconds away from losing my self-control, and I knew that whatever I wanted to get into, she was wide open and down for it. But was it me getting her open, or was she just open in general? I couldn't trust her movements anytime I wasn't seeing her standing in front of my face. I knew she might be doing anything. Now, I didn't respect her enough either. I wanted her to stay away from me because, yes, I believed at the right or wrong moment, like any man, I could easily fuck her. But I already knew I would never fuck her without wearing a condom. If she chased me hard, I would allow her to be the first to suck my dick. A thought that had already occurred to me and enticed me once, but I wasn't proud of. I would never suck her pussy or lick her clitoris. It wasn't a clean place. It wasn't my place. It was a public place, like an outdoor bathroom or a bus stop. So she was right. I needed her to stay away from me for my own good, for my own sake, for the protection of the man I am and want to be. These were the thoughts that rushed into me, but for some reason I was still angry even though I didn't know or understand why. Trying to get my head right, I took deep breaths to relax myself. Bangs said maybe she would talk to someone else on my team. That shit was foul and dangerous. That got me tight. Since I didn't love her, I was asking myself, why did the thought of me knowing that she might start fucking with someone else make me feel so heated? When I thought about someone else touching her, why did the thought come along with me seeing myself breaking some nigga's neck? If I wouldn't fight for her or risk my freedom, why did I want to murk her uncle? I needed answers for myself. I was mad at myself for catching feelings for Bangs. It was my fault, I decided. I take responsibility for it. I was mad at Bangs for being what Uma called a lesser thing. I wanted her to be smarter, stronger, better. I wanted her to be so much more, so I could feel all right about caring for her. If I had to trade Akemi to get bangs, I'd throw bangs out of the picture. But my own father had the greatest woman, Uma, and still had 2 more wives. I never saw his love for Uma decrease or ease up or change in any way except to grow stronger every day. It seemed to me that real men are collectors of fine women and the possessions of their hearts, and not destroyers or deserters. Only a fool would leave a great thing when you can always keep it or take it along with you. There are 3 kinds of men, I realized. There are the non-believers, the make-believers, and the true believers. The true believers' feelings are alive and awake. The true believers have hearts that rage. There is no such thing as halfway love for a true believer. When a true believer, a Muslim man, loves a woman, he possesses her completely, guards her with his life. He has high expectations for her, holds her as a treasure, the main ingredient, the spice of life, the wife, the mother. I had to confess to myself that I do not love bangs, but I could love her. As a true believer, my heart is raging. The more I would have seen her, talked with her, held her baby in my arms, given to her unselfishly, the more she would grow and become a part of my true heart. But then I would be pushed by my same raging heart to murder the man who violated her, to take her as my second wife, to cover up her beauty and charms, to teach her a better way of life, to become the guardian to her daughter. Once she changed the way she was living, and I went into bangs, me, this true believer, she would become mine forever, and anyone who tried to hurt her or seize her from me, I'd sever his head from his neck. And this is my gangster. This is my problem. I couldn't give a girl who wasn't steady that much love or that much power over me. As in Islam, any woman who was not mine by birth or blood relation or oath of marriage is a woman I need to separate myself from, is a woman whose body I didn't want to see, a woman who I should turn away from and lower my gaze. Make-believers are men who pretend that they have a belief in life. They lure women with their pretense and trappings. They make believe that they are Muslims, Christians, Jews, or any other faith. They make believe that they are strong. They make believe that they are capable of love. They make believe that they are part of a family unit. They make believe that they are protecting you. They make believe that they are real men. Non-believers are men and women who don't have to do anything. They have no limits, no boundaries, and no expectations, none for themselves and none for you either. Non-believers are the sons of a painful pair of parents who are either dead in the body, meaning they are absent or deceased, or dead in the mind, meaning they are present, but their ignorance only makes their presence worse. The mothers of the non-believers are prettied up, mindless whores, the uneducated ones and the well-spoken educated ones too. The non-believers have no chance of real love, real family, or real life. Still, they are here outnumbering us all. Meeting bangs taught me all of that, brought all these thoughts to mind. Uma says every woman who a man allows himself to interact with leaves her trace on him, good or bad. I am grateful to bangs for these lessons, most of all, to know the truth about myself as a man, and to be loyal and true to it.